I'm gonna go pee. All right. Welcome back to Menace Armament. And give me 1 second. I just realized I probably need to mute my TV here. Yep. I started to hear myself. So I know we're working this time. We're not muted. Did also learn that when you're using OSB Studio with the Rumble type studio setup, if you mute your mic on OSB, it does not mute it in Rumble. And so then you just start streaming and talking when you're not meaning to. But welcome back. Today, we're doing episode 4. We're going to talk about being new to shooting, mainly for kids, hence why special guest, Menace Jr. And he started shooting this last year and jumped into competition shooting pretty quick between those two. So we're going to kind of get into a little bit of that and kind of talk to him, and then we will go from there. I do want to get into our sponsor, and that is, of course, Bishop's Gun Barn. So let me get that pulled up here. Bishop's Gun Barn is located here at 305 Jefferson in Pocatello, Idaho. It's where I work. If you want a custom gun built or anything like that, you can come in here, call us, email. I believe there's even a way to do it on this site. But we have all kinds of things. Now, this site goes through all of our distributors too. So just because it's on the site doesn't mean we have it in the store. But if you order it from there and you ship it to our store, as that's your choice of FFL, you don't have any added fees. Most stores charge like 25 bucks to do that. We don't if you order it from us. Another option, of course, is you can order it, ship it anywhere you want, an FFL your choice, and everything else you can ship to your house. It's not an NFA item where you have to do the whole background check and all that kind of stuff. And then we've also, let me see here. Get back to us here. Now, this time, decided we're going to have a little different conversation. We got our cokes, right? Got to have that before you go live. And then, as you can see, we got a few firearms in front of us since YouTube says we're not allowed to handle firearms live, but only if it's tape recorded. We're just going to leave them here. We'll get into that here in a little bit, but start off, I want to kind of introduce my son, Menace Jr. here. And let's start off with the main question. Why do you like guns?
Just really very fun to. It's really just really fun to shoot sometimes. But sometimes the weather could get a little bad, so that's the.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've shot in the snow a few times, or you've been out there when I'm having to test fire in the snow. But I guess that was a bonus for you, is you hung out with me at the gun range for almost a year, constantly going there off and on. I'm shooting guns that were built and things like that. So that might be one way to help new shooters. Do you think that helped you being more comfortable the first time you got to shoot? A little bit, because you didn't really have a fear. That's for sure. Started you out right. Today I got two more stories on this one, which I'm going to throw out that recommendation. New shooters, I don't care if they're an adult or a kid, do not put some high-powered weapon just so you can laugh at them fall on their butt. One guy who is quite a bit older than me is still trying to get over his fear of shotguns, thanks to that. And another guy, fear of revolvers. It actually caused a fear for both of them to shoot anything like that, even though they did get into certain guns and everything else. Just it caused issues right from the start. For you, we started off directly with 22. In fact, I think the first gun you fired was your mom's dad's first gun as well, and he got to be there with you. So that was pretty cool. And like my oldest kid, your older brother, like both of their first gun was the first gun I learned on. That was also the first gun my dad learned on. So it's a good way to start. The 22 is an awesome platform for it. And you gained quite the collection of 22s really fast because even in front of us, we don't have all your guns. You've only been shooting for a year. But you got one more up there.
More.
Yeah, I would grab it, but then I would get kicked off YouTube.
Yeah. Well, I have about 4 guns.
Yep.
22s. All 22s.
Yeah. In fact, what is your favorite gun to shoot?
That's gotta be.
Yes. We'll switch to this camera angle.
It's going to be my 22 pistol. Right up there.
That's a Ruger Mark II with a really big muzzle brake that you didn't really need, but I had one, so it got put on. I did have a video of you shooting that, and I couldn't find it before we went live, but that one you like because it's more, you can pull the trigger a little bit quicker. Just what is it about it that really makes it that you like it that much?
It's one of my guns that. It's one of my only guns that actually does not have a scope. You can see from here my only ones that I have a scope.
Mm-hmm.
And plus that you could just spam the trigger and it's fun.
Yeah, we worked on trying to help you with iron sights. So let's see here. Now we kind of switched some stocks because we started off with that wood one with this action here. If you can see my finger, that's actually a competition build that we did at the store that I used last year in competition shooting. I was able to get 10th in the state with it. And then you took over on that one and ended up falling in love with the 1022 platform because of that one right there. But we decided to switch the stock out to the Luth AR because another one of your guns, a build that you did. In fact, there is a video on my channel if you ever want to watch that of him building that gun. That technically is this one here with the green barrel, which doesn't really match the wood right now. We're going to fix that later on. But we had the Luth AR stock on this one. And we ended up switching it because we found out that the AR stock being as adjustable as it is and everything was actually more comfortable for you. Because that was the hardest part, is getting you comfortable and trying to figure out how to what works for you because of your size and everything like that.
My shoes are definitely one of the best ones to start.
Yeah, I have to agree there. So back to us here. We can still see your competition set up here. And in all reality, it's still, most of the guns you're shooting against are $3,000. Like my Vicaro is $2,500 to $3,000. And that's actually considered a standard price. You're shooting a gun, in all reality, we would build and sell in the store for $1,100. If not actually cheaper at the Luth AR, because this Boyd's at one stock is a little bit more than a Luth AR setup, but you ended up liking the Luth AR better. Kind of proof it's not all about the money. Like, find what works for you.
Also, most factory and those other one.
Oh, unlimited? That's the other part, huh?
Unlimited. Some do factory. I'm pretty sure if I remember right, factory has the bigger target. Or
Yep.
is that?
Yep.
And some of them with the 3 are doing factory too.
No. Most of those are custom. Maybe there is some, though. There is some old classics. You might be right there. But to put it in perspective, what we're talking about, we had your unlimited class where you're going to get away with all kinds of custom guns and all that. And then you have your factory class, which is what it sounds like, a gun directly from the factory that you shoot that way. There's certain specific rules you have to follow in that class. But the bullseye in the factory class is literally the same size as the entire target for the class that him and me shoot. And doesn't seem like much until you're trying to shoot that little dot that's like the little pinhole dot at that bullseye. And if you even cut that line, you go from 100 points to 50. So you lose a lot of points just by slightly missing, because the bullseye is the size of the dime. And you got to get that whole 22 hole in that dime. If you ever want to look it up, ARA is what we shoot. And in all reality, you're the only kid in the state of Idaho that's shooting in unlimited class, which I thought was pretty crazy. I thought there would be more. All the other kids are shooting in the stock class.
I might start doing factory though.
Or factory.
Try it out. But this is the thing. I love Ultimate because it's actual challenge.
The unlimited?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It is a good challenge, that's for sure. What I wanted. Pulling up something. Why don't you kind of tell what it was like your very first shoot? Actually, let's start with this one. What made you want to do the competition?
Really, all I wanted is to shoot a little bit more instead of just shooting. The only time I get to shoot is going to the shooting range. Now I can actually go shoot on movements.
Now you don't have a choice because there's a match.
Plus, there's also these double point matches.
Mhm.
Too. You always want to go to those
That's the tournaments.
tournaments.
Mhm.
You never want to miss those.
Here's a question for you, and this is probably something that a lot of new shooters, if your kids ever watch this episode or anything like that, um, the nerves of it, because you went from always going to the range, so you're never worried about guns, had any issues there, and if you wanted to mess with one, we did it together. But you weren't nervous around guns themselves. A little nervous to shoot, but that didn't take long to get over. Um, but as we were driving to the tournament, I was out of town, no babysitter, you're stuck with me. It's pretty much how it worked out because we weren't sure if you were ready yet. And you weren't sure, even as we were driving. What was it that just, because randomly you're like, I'm going to shoot. And it kind of threw me off because I wasn't ready. Like, what was going through your head? If you could help somebody out there who's debating and thinking about getting into shooting, how would you get over that fear?
You just have to try it out mostly. Not really. You do, of course. I picked it up at first. Probably every gun person was a probably at least once, some gun.
Oh, yeah.
So I tried to get over that fear by shooting the tournaments.
Yeah.
So I'm not as scared of doing shooting most of it. Just try to go. You can't, you can't.
Yeah, because it did throw me off. I wasn't sure if I was ready for you to shoot yet, to be honest with you, because it made me nervous. What were the people like? Because there was a lot of old guys.
It was actually kind of nice because I had people around that do what
You could shoot too, so it was. They welcome you in pretty good. Everybody was willing to help you out with anything because you're the youngest shooter we got by a ways. By at least, I think the other youngest one I saw was 15, 16. You're 10. So not only are you the youngest shooter, you're the only one shooting in that class too.
probably used to be probably used to be some shooters like me, but just when I go to different class, it's a little easier for them.
Yeah.
It's probably what they thought, or something else like that.
The funny part is my first time ever shooting was first at some targets out with my dad out in Malad on my grandma's property. You've been out there. But we ended up going up the hill, and instead of shooting at targets, we started shooting at rabbits. I didn't. I don't know if it's because I was nervous or I just didn't want to rabbit. But the dogs love the rabbits, and that's why they had a really bad problem with the rabbits out there. So there was so many. They were everywhere.
I've been wanting to hunt for a while.
You got the wrong dad for that one. I'd never hunted.
I want actual moving target that I don't know where exactly if I move. It
Okay.
can go left, right, and all that.
I have to take your rock shotgun. We'll talk about that one. But trying to. You got any advice for anybody?
It's really try to have fun. So if you have fear, just try to get out. Because if you don't hear,
Live in fear, right? Please you can't live. So you're not comfortable, then you're not trying hard enough. Kind of like being in front of a camera, right? You're more comfortable in front of a camera than I am, but all right. And hey, I do have That's why I was kind of setting up the live stream set up over here. So if there's any questions you guys got for him, me, or anything like that, now is a good time to kind of bring them up. Hopefully, it does actually update and pop them up over here. When it comes to being a new shooter, like I said, we did have a few today, and it was kind of weird that two came in with that same problem, a fear from a family member. One was an uncle, and one was an older brother that did it to him. It's there's a right way and a wrong way to go about things. Like, take your time, dry fire. Like, if you're going out and you just want to buy a gun and then that's how you want to learn, try to find somebody that owns some that you can trust. That's the big part. Own some smaller ones. Like with him, I've been adamant about him not shooting any of the bigger stuff. And I kind of realized that maybe I was being a little too safe with my older kids because now that none of them have even really shot like a 9mm handgun. And one's 19 and 17. They're plenty old enough to shoot more than 9mm. In fact, he might even. So there is also a little bit being too safe. I pretty much stuck them with nothing but ARs and 22s, pistols if they did shoot a pistol. Probably need to work on the other side too, because now they're getting to the point where they can have their own self-defense weapon or want to go do that training. And I haven't actually given them a little bit more training. Another guy came in as well. He really doesn't have anybody that can teach him much that he can trust or anything like that. But luckily here in Pocatello, we do have a few places you can go. Right now, I'm in the process of trying to get instructor certified and all that kind of stuff. They'll kind of help me do more classes, but we do have a couple of local businesses. One even has a shooting simulator. Another one has a whole basement for airsoft, and they do that type of training with airsoft guns. Are a good way to at least get the start. It's not the real thing, but at least it gets you the fundamentals: how to shoot safely, how to just the form and function. I mean, keep your finger off the trigger. That's something that in the store drives me nuts. Um, just had a customer recently. Luckily, it's clear and all that. You always treat it as if it's loaded, even if you know for a fact it's unloaded. But he probably flagged me 15, 20 times. He's brand new, doesn't know what he's doing. That's where you have to also use ABS. It doesn't tend to start getting my heart going and blood pressure rising, but you don't want to scare somebody who's just trying to learn from ever learning because of a mistake. Now, in the store, at the range, that would have been a little different. You do need to correct safety violations right there on the spot. Try to find a way to do it respectfully enough to where you don't scare the person. I mean, they're just learning. It's kind of like first time you ever drove. It's not like you hopped in there and started racing your friends on that first day, unless you're a farmer and been driving since you were 12. But at least for me, I know I was nervous, especially with my dad sitting over there and driving his nice car. I was nervous. But he helped me work through that by myself, learned how to drive a stick shift that way. It's like kind of the same concept there.
Also, a goal that's even gooder to follow is never look down the barrel.
You watch the YouTube videos of that stuff.
I have seen
Is it loaded?
someone at the range when we were driving down,
Yeah.
down the barrel looked like some from something like that.
What's a good? Well, he looked like he was. He wasn't. You all know if you go shooting much, you know who I'm talking about. The tactical guys. What's a good way to make sure there's nothing stuck in your barrel without looking down the barrel?
Pretty much.
I know you've seen me do it.
Is then you could actually.
I'm talking about. I just want to make sure there's nothing in the barrel before you fire.
Oh yeah, first check the barrel by
Clearing it.
clearing the barrel. Always do that. To actually maybe kill someone in a way.
Point I was getting to is cleaning rods, things like that. Down through. If it makes it all the way through, there's nothing stuck in the barrel. You can have rounds that maybe not all the powder burns and the bullet gets stuck in there, and that might have been what happened to that guy, and that's why he was looking down there. Clearing rod, that's how you check. Snub. Yeah, like you said, it's never a good idea to look down the barrel.
Even though it's always use.
That's going to be your nice next step because you've learned on the rifle how to clear and stuff like that. You had to while you're shooting. You got 20 minutes. You don't know how to clear it. I'm shooting over there. I can't help you.
I mean, I kind of. This is another thing. If you want to shoot faster, you probably should go to just the regular 22. But also, a way to take actually your time more is to go for pullback.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it just really helps you.
Yeah.
Go for.
Like the accuracy side tends to be better with the bolt action. We are going to try the Summit. Vol Quartz makes a 1022 straight pull version. So hopefully we can. Sorry, I was getting a phone call there. But hopefully we can get one of those built and have you build that because that would also be. I bet you in our store we could build one of those for that 1500 mark. It would be really accurate, and it would actually have a better barrel than the kid barrel. Which that one's hard to say because a lot of people just think the kid barrel is the best 1022 barrel. That's another thing we got to do. We got to test our elder barrels and see if it can shoot better than this kid barrel.
Oh yeah. If you can, if you're not like shooting, you have the safety on and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And you see someone looking down the barrel,
yeah,
you might actually want to warn them to not to do it.
It's true.
Actually, kill you or almost kill you.
That's true.
It does not go. It does go off. I've
Yeah.
seen a video that instead of actually blowing his face off, that's dead.
That goes off, and it takes a lot of practice. That's what you really need to do. Practice dry fire. Take training. Almost every area, or at least within 45 minutes, at least maybe an hour of where you lived. There is people out there that can teach you. Now, if you go to do a beginner's course and you don't feel comfortable with that instructor, don't be embarrassed to either just leave. I mean, especially if the stuff's unsafe. But I did the enhanced concealed carry class, right? I don't need to do that one. It was nice so I could carry in other states. I wasn't really planning on carrying too much in other states because most of the time I'm doing like SHOT Show and things like that, and you can't walk around there carrying the gun anyways. But I really wanted to do that version just because they do have that added course. It's been more than 15 years since I've done any kind of true training with a pistol, some type of course of fire or things of that nature. Everything from me has been Army ARs. And even that area I got really rusty even when I was in it because we'd only shoot a couple times a year. Unless you're prepping for deployment and probably had a different job than computer nerd like me, you didn't do a whole lot in that area. You learned it and you just kind of would refresh sometimes, and that was about it. My last deployment, I was stuck in an office.
You want a computer one and
your mom?
She is a mechanic. She still is. I'm pretty sure has about 4 or 3 years. She is working on some nice stuff. Some nice stuff. And paints too.
Yep, you're not going to learn how to shoot with artillery and tanks. But... Anyways, they're fun to watch. Yeah, that's kind of sum it up. You got any extra advice? There's something that you kind of hope I help you out with, or is there something that went right for you on the teaching you where to start? Shoot, you still practicing right now. Still beginner, getting there.
Really?
What's the next thing you want to shoot
Probably.
or get better at shooting?
I also want to go for like sprint shots, like a shotgun.
You want to shoot at
I want
mug?
to go in that area.
Well, since your mom is watching this right now, just thought I'd let you know we are getting a 410 in.
And also, just so you guys know, this is my very first shotgun thing.
Yeah, that's what it's called, my very first shotgun. My first shotgun.
And shotguns are usually pretty good on powerful ones.
Mm-hmm.
But that one's going to be like an 8R.
You know,
Something really, it's not going to be like a feels like a massive gun. It's going to feel like kind of like a nice gun.
you know, you've never shot a 410 yet.
You know, shotgun. You told me about that.
Well, there's different calibers. The 12 gauge that we own, we have a 12 gauge and a 20 gauge. I'm not sure if with those yet.
They have to. Do you still have to pay for shotgun?
We're getting one in. We sold it last. We have one coming in probably in the next few days.
So we'll go to Bishop's shop if you want the very first shotgun.
I thought you were going to try to convince Mom to go over there and buy it for you.
I do want to.
You kind of told me that a few times. What about a gun that we own? What's one you want to get you? That you haven't really shot or
Yes. Probably something more powerful, a little bit more powerful than 8AR. Do
okay.
we have like that?
Well, I have my AR-10. It's a 308.
I mean, like 8 or 10, like the ones I
That would
use
probably
to
be the
shoot.
one because I do have a Ruger American 308. We do have a few other bullet guns. We have a 22 250, which actually wouldn't be bad. That's one of Mom's that she got from her dad.
I guess those would be good ones to go if you want to go.
I like ARs because they recoil a lot. If you're trying to get kind of used to the recoil and all that, that's a good way to go. So like the AR-10 is that I have is a 308, and then we have the 5.56, and you shot it a little bit. Still learning to keep it on your shoulder. I got you that one time because even a 5.56 with not much recoil, if you have that much space and it's slapping you 3 shots in a row, kind of like ow.
Even though it's like, even though you don't really have to do it at switch pointers, but please still do it. You need to practice.
Getting a bad habit.
You have a habit to, if you're shooting something more powerful than even the AR, you always should do that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of guns out there that you should.
It's true.
And please don't go for like freaking sniper rifle or something right off the bat. Please.
You're talking about a high caliber gun.
Oh, shot.
Yeah. Long range gun.
I see nothing flashy in AR at first.
The AR, the 5.56 even, I think is one of the better beginner calibers.
Nothing stronger than those. Just because you don't want to just fire a powerful gun or something and get scared of guns firing more.
I have to agree.
So maybe do your research on some guns.
Talk to people. Go to a gun store. If they treat you, most gun stores I know, like when you come into ours, we'll take the time. We'll talk about each one, our opinions. I mean, everybody's got their opinion. Everybody's got their ideas. I know some people that literally started with even like a 30.6, which is good. hunting caliber, um, you can do it without getting that fear. But if you do have that, I mean, that fear, starting small is not a big deal. I mean, a lot of people they think self-defense, but 9 millimeter, like that's what I carry, right? I'm going to use a 380 though. Any day of the week.
Oh, this is another thing. You probably shouldn't do like hunting when you do your first tree. You probably should
You need to know how to shoot first. Is that what you're saying?
not just go straight into hunting. And also, it's not just guns. You could do crossbows, barrels,
Bow
all
arrows,
those
yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of
If
different
you
things you
want
can
a
do.
bit more of a challenge.
That is true.
I see like 22s and everything. Crossbow, bow and arrow. Bow and arrow, you have to get straight and
Yeah,
everything.
we haven't tried that one with you yet.
It's not as good.
I'm not a good teacher in that area, but
It's not as good accuracy as a 22 and a crossbow. Well,
right.
if the crossbow.
Depends on the skill level of the person too.
That's it.
All right. Well, I think that should about wrap it up. I want to thank you guys for watching. If you got any questions or anything, now's a good time to just kind of throw it out there. But I think that's a pretty good show, good start. And I want to thank Menace Jr. here for joining me. Um, my usual partner in crime ditched me. He's a bastard like that. Hopefully he's watching, but we'll see. Yeah, I appreciate everybody watching. I will throw out there. I know I've been kind of doing both YouTube and Rumble. I'm going through the Rumble way. That way, if the stream does get kicked because I broke another rule that I don't know or understand, it's usually the case, at least the stream's still going. So I do recommend watching me on Rumble. I appreciate it. If you follow me on both, though, subscribe on both. That does help me out. I'm starting to notice that almost getting, other than like my shorts on YouTube, they get lots of thousands of views. My videos don't get too many on YouTube. I get more on Rumble, but I have more subscribers on YouTube. Rumble, I haven't really got too many of this followers, I guess is what it's called over there. So I'd appreciate it if you guys could subscribe, follow me. Also, give me some ideas. Throw out stuff and what you guys want to see for future episodes, things of that nature. I believe there's a way to message me on at least one of those apps. I'm not sure exactly how all that works yet, but even during a live stream, it's throw out some ideas. If you know me or Donnie or us all personally or something, let us know. Give us your ideas of really of what you want to see. What's up for you?
Oh yeah. Also, maybe the future. Maybe we try to do more like actual shooting of dummies and all that. Try to
Ballistic.
yes.
We are trying to set that one up.
And
Hopefully, we can do that with the 475.
also,
Maybe we'll have you out there shooting your 22 first at it. It's all right if I.
and also, check out the channel. You probably won't see me really on streams that much. You probably see me mostly figure videos.
Oh, yeah.
And Donnie is probably gonna be
He's on there too.
stream
Yeah.
mostly.
Who
Oh, so
knows?
yes.
Someday you'll have your own channel. I'll wait a little bit on that one though.
No. This is one thing I'm gonna get. I want to check what the rules are on YouTube. There are some dumb.
You were watching when I got kicked.
Rumble as much as stupid rules. Also,
All right. We'll end it there. Hey, I do appreciate you guys following me, watching, even if you're not following, subscribed, or however, whichever one you're watching me on. I do appreciate the support. I am trying to, like what he was talking about, we are trying to work on getting some more exciting, put it that way. Like you guys subscribing and watching this stuff does help, and that kind of gives me a better argument to convince some people to help me out in those areas. So I do thank you for that, and I hope you guys have an awesome rest of your night. Enjoy your dinners or dessert, depending on where you're at right now. Yeah, thanks again.
The same.
All right. You guys have an awesome